So today we're working on the 2011 BMW F10 528i. This, unlike later model F10 528i's in the US, has the naturally aspirated 6-cylinder. So I believe in the US this is a one-off, and I believe in Europe that they may have used this engine a few times in the F10 without the turbos. This has a unique way of changing the oil, which you do need one of these oil cap adapters to remove the oil cap, unlike old BMWs where they have like a kind of bolt coming out of it. In the early M50s, M52s I believe might have it, and then of course the M54 has the wrench adapter with the 32mm socket on top, or 36. So to get the car up, since it's pretty low, I jacked the car up first, which I had to kind of put the jack in crooked because the jack point is way under here. Because my jack pretty much would, with the stick straight, would go only up to here. So since it needed about another foot, I basically had to lay this jack crooked and have it pretty much where the bar was down, up like this. I had to pump it slowly to get it to even clear the jack stands. Or not the jack stands, the ramps. Because this thing was really low. And then once you get it up on the ramps, so you don't have to take out all this plastic, there's a door here. Let me just show you how it was. So there's a door on this that you turn it and it opens to show you where the oil drain plug is. Comes out and then it's straight down. You drain the oil with a 17mm wrench. I can't find my socket, which is gonna probably pose a problem here. You loosen it and it just drains out, and then we're gonna go back up and we're gonna show the process on the top, and we'll change the oil. All right, with the oil receptacle underneath, drain the oil with the 17. As I said before, I couldn't find my socket, which I wanted to do this real quick, so I just grabbed whatever 17 I could find, drain it in here, and then replace it. And don't lose this cover, because obviously this is probably going to be expensive from BMW, and I mean it fits perfectly in the very plastic covering underneath the motor. And I mean most cars after a while don't have it, so I mean if you have it, it's a bonus. F10s usually should have it because they were more expensive cars, and I think they're probably either on the second owner or still maybe even the original owner in some cases. So let's open this up. Oh, drain it directly into the oil pan. Lefty loosey, and give it one good heave. Sucker wrench would have made it a lot easier. Then obviously it's just going to drain down, and probably like the Civic before, it splashed everywhere, because the new Civics are like this too. It's just, I would recommend gloves doing this. But look at it, see, it's just going to go straight down, so I mean there's no way to really slow it down. Let's see what it looks like. It's been in here for a while because this car never moves. I think this oil only has like 2,000 miles, which sucks. It's been parked for a while, so let's see. Yeah. Whew. Oh crud, look at that. See, that's not, see, that's what I hate about it going direct, because look at that, it just kind of fountained. Jeez, holy crap. See, when it does that, it just fountains out. At least when it goes sideways, you have a chance, and it goes slower. Look at this, it's just, I'm glad I had the tarp, but damn, now this tarp is really dirty. That sucks. I only use the tarp because I have sawdust here ready for oil that's spilled, but jeez. Yeah, see, I haven't done the oil change on this one, and well, I never have on this car, because Dad did it once and that was it. Look at that. Just went straight down and made a horrible mess right here. Look at that. Ew. I hate when that happens, and this is why I don't like it when the drain plug just goes straight down. Like older Hondas and older BMs, it's sideways, but it seems like more cars nowadays it just goes straight down. I'm guessing from when people bring it to the oil changer, it just goes into the pan. But look at the mess it makes. Holy crap. More sawdust in the driveway. That sucks. Oh well. Let it drain, and then we're gonna go to the top and open the filter cap, and this thing probably will drain some more. Alright, as that's draining, open the oil filter housing, which you use a 3/8 ratchet, connect it to the adapter, or if you find a different adapter, then that'll work instead. And alright, and loose. Alright, lefty loosey, and that thing is on there. Alright, there you go. Since I use the ratchet, it makes it so much easier. Take it off. Don't forget to replace the gasket in there. Just gonna take that off now because it's ready. We're using a man filter. Hoping my dad got the right one. It looks pretty small because the E39, E34 and everything had bigger ones. This thing has a tiny one. So the engine looks bigger, but obviously, I mean, it's a 3-liter displacement. Let's see if it's a different filter. Oh dang, that is tiny. Look at that. Also, I would recommend cleaning inside here. Some people just let it drain out, but look at all that old oil in there. I mean, defeats the purpose. You don't clean it, but obviously take a napkin. I'm gonna go inside, make it all shiny, get rid of all this hot oil. I like running it a little bit before I do the oil change, just so it drains fast, but that was excessively fast at first, and that was gross. Glad I didn't take a shower in it like I did before with the Civic, because the Civic one is the same thing. It goes straight down, and it was really gross. Actually, to make matters worse, also, the Civic one also had the filter down there too, that went straight down, and that was also gross. This at least is up here. See if it's still draining down there. Yep, still draining, but look at that. Because it gushed out a lot faster than it should have. Made a horrible mess, and that could have gone my head. Ew. So I drain for a few minutes and then proceed. Never seen this on the bottom of the filter before. Looks kind of funky, which my dad said he has changed, or he always changes the filter every time he does an oil change. So I don't know what that is. I mean, if you know if that's a bad sign, leave the comments in the below. I mean, obviously there shouldn't be any metal shavings or anything, but I don't know why the filter looks like that on the bottom. It's kind of gross. So we're going to swap out the gaskets on the filter. Use a screwdriver to take off the two, and then put it back in after cleaning the reservoir. Obviously ensure the filters are the right size, which this one doesn't have the lip that the old one has, but this is one that original manufacturer would use. I'm guessing this is a mild one. Let's see, made in Thailand. Okay, that's not right. Not sure this is supposed to be that, but I mean, they're the same size when you put them side by side. The only difference is this little lip, and I hope that's not important. But this is what my dad gave me, so we're gonna swap it over and change the gaskets. Alright, so using a screwdriver, just like other BMWs, take out the blue gasket, as well as take out this one right here for the oil filter. You have them provided in most cases. I mean, some filters might not, but you'll generally have the big gasket. The little one, I think I had one that might not have had it. I called the distributor and they gave me a new one. This one has the big gasket, the little one on the oil filter housing, and then one for the drain plug on the bottom, which I didn't see that come out, but I'm gonna obviously change it and figure out what happened to that. Let's proceed. So take this off, and obviously don't give it too much force. This should just come out. See? So I took this one off with the screwdriver, and now I'm gonna grease up the new one. Let's open the package, grease up the new one with some new oil, and then put it on. We're using Castrol Edge 530. This is the extended performance because this thing doesn't move very much. So at least it'll be good for storage and performance at the same time, obviously. We're going to use, I heard, 6.5 quarts. So we basically bought 2 because I mean, I could use this in the other BMW because that needs, what, 5.5, I believe, in the 839. So, I mean, we'll have extra for both. Both use the same oil. The 525, we haven't been using 040. The E46, I have 040 in it right now, but I think I'm going to change it to 530 just because, I mean, I don't use it very often, and it's a little more for 040 typically. So let's grease up this gasket. I tell you, these Home Depot gloves aren't that great for oil change. I mean, nitrate cover in the front, but obviously you gotta take into account the back is cloth. Oh well, I mean, even through the front you could feel it even before it seeped in, so they're not that great. So what I do is I pour a little bit of oil in here, the new jug. I coat the new gasket, which is black in this case, coat it in there, or I rub my finger around the gasket, but I'm just going to coat it in here because I have one finger that I'm using for the camera. And then I place it around. It'll fit into the groove on the filter housing. Yeah, all this in one hand is kind of interesting. Let's pull this down. Jeez. But basically it'll go on the outside, so you'll go into that groove there, and it'll just pretty much, it'll fit in, and that'll provide a seal for the oil filter housing. We'll put this down, and then I'll kind of guide it in a little bit, and then I'll show you when I'm putting it in. Alright, so you pull it down the threads, and it'll fit into this groove right here. I'm gonna clean my pants anyway, so I guess I'm just gonna let that get dirty. I have coveralls, but they're hard to put on and they're kind of dusty, so didn't do it right now. Make sure it's all the way around, that it's on. And now we're going to take off this one. I'm going to use that small screwdriver again to take it off. That one I'm not going to show, but obviously be careful for the tip. Pry it off and then put the new one on after oiling it, and then reinsert. Okay, as you see, we let it drain, but since it's slanted, unlike the old ones, still oil here, so take a rag or some paper towel, empty it out. I like using paper towel just because I'm gonna throw it away anyway. Just wipe it, make sure there's no paper that gets stuck, all that. Oh geez, an oil film alternator, look at that. How much mess this particular one is compared to most jobs. See? Ooh, it's hot. As you can, you're gonna probably go through a lot of paper towels just doing this, but it's better to clean it out than just half-assing and just let it pretty much stay in the system, because otherwise you still have dirty oil in there. Look at that. See, I still haven't taken out all that. Let me get more paper towels. It's hot. Actually, it's absorbing a lot of it. Yeah, this is a lot of paper towel that I brought with me. Made it into a big ball because I knew I was gonna need a lot. And look at that. I mean, it's cleaner than most people leave it. They just leave that inch of oil in it when they're changing the oil just to make it fast. And I'm trying to do it quick, but not that quick. Ooh, it's hot. Careful not to burn yourself, obviously, but I mean, you take the risk when you do this. You can do your oil change when you're cold, but it's not going to flow as fast. This thing flew really fast, though. There you go. Okay, now with the oil filter gaskets replaced and properly lubricated. New one's black, not blue like that other one. Insert the oil filter on it. It should only fit one way, but it's tight. My dad got the right one. There you go. I don't know why it doesn't go all the way through. Old ones used to. See. Press it all the way in. Make sure this comes out, because obviously it won't thread if you do that. Okay, now since this is plastic, I mean, you could try to torque it, but you might probably crack it because it is plastic. hand thread it, and then finalize it with the oil filter wrench adapter. Make sure it threads nice and easy. Cracking this is going to cause you a lot of issues. And I think older BMWs even had, like the E90 had problems with the oil filter housing, so don't cause it a different problem. You get the wrench. And only do it till you have some resistance, because it should be tight enough. See, that's good. I mean, there's resistance, but we're not going to torque it because I'm not going to crack that. And then prior to finishing it all off, obviously we're going to run in and check for leaks, like check around it. Sometimes older ones, you'd feel it because it had a metal top for the oil filter housing. Actually, this metal? Oh no, this is plastic, yeah. The old ones were metal, but then instead of having that middle piece, it was a metal rod that goes in with its own gasket. So this being plastic, we're gonna check. I mean, usual spots would be in the back here. Let me replace the oil filter drain plug, or not, the oil drain plug, and then we'll add oil. So we get the remaining gasket after I oiled it, and then now we're gonna put it underneath and replace it under the car. Alright, now I gotta find the freaking... Is it there? It's not even there. Where is the... Guess maybe it didn't come out with it. Check on the drain plug to see if the washer's still on it. Probably might have even fused on here. I'm gonna turn off the camera for a second, make sure, and then put the new one on so there aren't two. Okay, so I took off the old copper one, and now there's the black one on here. Hand thread this before tightening it with the wrench, and be careful. Before putting back the cover, make sure it doesn't leak out of here. So we're gonna run the car after we insert oil and make sure there's no oil coming out of here. Just hand thread it. Then this is the 17mm, of course. Towards the end, you're obviously gonna give it a little bit of force, but don't over tighten it, because in the past when I was younger, I've snapped a few of these in the 34 I had, so we've had to die and drill it out, and that was fun. Okay, 17, oily 17. Sorry. Yeah, feel a little bit of resistance and stop. Alright. And now let's add the oil. Alright, so I put a funnel in just to ensure I don't spill, even though it looks like it's dirty already. Alright, so my correction, this is an N52. The N20 was the 212 model, the 4-cylinder. That takes 5 quarts. This is listed at 6.5. So basically you take one of this and then an extra one. Alright, pour it in slowly. See if I can do this one hand without spilling. Alright. Alright. Okay, doing slowly as I can, even though it's taking the whole quart, the whole jug. So you go slowly in here, and it does not go slowly underneath. That sucks, because that was really messy, and obviously I would recommend showering after, because it's gross. This car has no dipstick, so basically when you're starting it, you're gonna check the oil level via the computer to tell you if you filled it up enough, and if it's not enough, then obviously you add more. 6.5 is the magic number with the oil filter, from what I've read. You could put 6 and then test, but 6.5 obviously. Wait, hold on. Add more. Obviously spilling over the valve cover will hit the header and then make it burn and smell nice and smoky. Typically don't want to do that unless you don't care. The Integra smells like that all day, so I mean, you get used to it. Even though I haven't spilled on that in a long time, You get used to it because that had a bad gasket at one point, so it smelled nice and nasty. On. This thing's taking a while. Come on, there we are. I'm doing this all for my F20 or S20 FE. So just trying to see how many videos I can do with this and how good it's gonna be. Okay, make sure it's all out and go to the next one, and we're gonna put 1.5 in there and then continue on and reset the light and test it. Alright, and then ensure that the oil cap is replaced, and now we're gonna go reset the service indicator. It's fairly simple. So don't start it, turn it on. It's gonna tell you some things about service. So now let's go reset. Reset button is, I believe, this right here. Hold it down. And then it's gonna ask you want to reset. Hold it down by pressing it again. Reset. Come on, I did. See, now reset in progress. You wait for it to finish. So it's this button right here in the corner. Was expecting little sticks. And okay, cool. Wow. Now it says check the brake fluid, but it says don't change till 10/2022 or 22,000 miles, I think it said. Wow. Now we're gonna go start it and make sure there's no leaks. Put on the brake. Hit the stop start button with the key in your pocket. I just reset that. Oh well, at least it reset the oil indicator, right? Seems to be running okay. Now we go check for leaks. What's that big, massive door? Finger around it. Probably rev it a little bit just to make sure it doesn't leak out. Make sure you don't feel for any oil leaks. You're gonna feel, I mean, there's wetness around it, but you're gonna feel obviously a lot more. So go check underneath. See nothing dripping out of that hole. That's okay. And obviously when you do this, make sure the car is properly supported. You can use jack stands, but I would recommend ramps. Now I'm gonna rev it a little bit to make sure there's an, well, it's a little oil buildup there, huh? Or is that oil buildup? Huh. Well, rev it up and see if there's more oil buildup that forms. Alright, I revved it a little bit. Go check around the oil housing. That's good. Now let's see if another bubble came on that drain plug, because that's going to concern me a little. Was there? No, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's okay. I'm gonna just rev it one more time just to make sure. Revved it again. Let's see here. No. Let's see here. Nothing I'm noticing. Go check that closer. Seems okay. Now we're gonna check the level through the car diagnostic system. Because the F10 doesn't have a dipstick, we're gonna use the diagnostic to go check how much oil it has, and I'll show you right here. We go back in the cab. Kind of dirty, so I'm not gonna sit in it. We're gonna go through the system right here. So I'm gonna go menu, hit the menu button, and then I'm gonna use the iDrive, and you turn it, or you can press the buttons. Turning it usually is easier. Vehicle info. Then let's see here. I believe it's vehicle status. Let's see. Tire pressure. Oil level. Let's see what we got here. So he's gonna measure it. Alright, so it wasn't giving me the proper oil level, but I don't see any leaks, so I'm gonna put this back. So as I said, you know, we're gonna put the cover on. And I put 6.5 according to the quarts I used. Well, I mean the jug, and then the measurement on the thing. And if it's low, I mean I'll top it off, because the electronic sensor is not telling me yet what the level is. So you go put it into the 3 holes for it, and then when you turn it closed, gosh, where is it? Alright, well, turn it, make sure it's secure and not loose, because otherwise it falls off, then you gotta buy a new one or just have it exposed. I'm guessing new ones in a little bit will have that. We're just missing, like how my E46, I have a cover that typically is missing, but 90% of the ones I see, it's missing, and it's just covering like this area. Alright, so we'll move everything. Anytime you spill oil, make sure that you get something to soak it up. I mean, they make things that you can buy to soak up the oil, but kitty litter does the trick, and it's generally a lot cheaper. You basically sprinkle it on. You can spread it with your these kitty litter all over the place, but each car is sprinkled in different ways, so it kind of sucks. Oh well, I'm gonna go clean these shoes anyway. So disposing your oil, put in proper containers, which generally the city will give you their own. You can ask for it, because usually they won't accept it when it's in that. Obviously pour it from there. I do recommend using a funnel so it doesn't spill. It might overflow towards the end, so go slowly. Fill it up, and then be ready for pickup for recycling day, or bring it to your local auto parts store.